Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of BS for Build. In this episode, I really wanted to bolt a couple more things on and do a shakedown on the car, make sure everything's operating as we assumed so we don't have to take everything back off once again. Small problem with that, there is what the weather channels are calling a mega storm heading my way. It's supposed to be like raining multiple inches and hurricane force winds today. So, car's not gonna make it out today. It's also supposed to rain tomorrow, so we're not gonna be able to do a shakedown, which is a bit of a bummer, but there are a couple more things that we need to bolt on, so this is gonna be a kind of relaxed episode where I'm just gonna approach a couple different areas, bolt on a couple more things that I think are good to have on for the shakedown and just good to start testing. Like we need to throw the taillights on there, do some bumper fitment stuff, rear hatch stuff, you know, some of those odds and ends types of things that we need to do. So we're continuing the final installation with hopes that we're not gonna have to rewind it and unwrap a bunch of that stuff. But regardless of that, it should be a fun weekend. Stay tuned. Well, I've read a lot of you guys' email and comments about how you like the authenticity of BS for Build and how we don't try and hide our mistakes and we're honest about what we do wrong. Those of you that feel that way are really gonna love this part of this episode. So when we were trying to set the body line for this front clamshell, the one thing that we didn't have attached, obviously that a lot of people commented on, was the bumper. We didn't have it attached the whole time. At the very end of the night, after Eric and I had wrapped up filming, we were like, oh, let's throw the bumper on there. That'd be fun to try and throw on there. And the front clamshell wasn't very happy. I was like, okay, we're gonna have to revisit that and see what's going on. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a deal. You would never believe that what happens is when you put this bumper on, it squeezes in a little bit from both of these sides, which then has an effect. So it's like every time you touch this clamshell, you lift up on this side, it does weird stuff. Every time you touch it, it does weird stuff with those angles and the body lines over there, including when you bolt them down hard, they do this weird thing where they suck in and change shape and everything like that. So it turned out that the extension that we made on this front bumper bracket didn't need to be there as long as you had the front bumper bolted on. So it was useless. So last night I was in here, I was just tinkering, trying to figure out what went wrong and what we needed to do. And the answer was to actually pull out that bracket. So you see we pulled out the headlight bracket extensions. I popped off the actual bracket extension that we put across here. So I did a little bit of undoing last night, but I by no means wanted to hide that or try and make it seem like we got it right. We just made the mistake of trying to do this whole front end without the bumper bolted on. In a traditional car, fenders are separate from the hood. Hood, fenders, bumper don't really, you know, they don't all play together. This thing is so crazy that every time you lift one spot, it moves somewhere else. So what we actually really needed to change to get the right type of thing is the angle of that bracket down there and the holes in the fiberglass of the front of the clamshell. Those are the things that actually needed to change to get correct fitment. So this morning there's going to be a little bit more tinkering to do with those holes, and the headlight brackets, the rear headlight brackets need to be, the extensions that we put in need to be removed. And then I should be good to go. Then the front end should be happy enough for to do the shakedown. So that's the plan. I know you guys have already seen me working on this thing like the entire last episode, so I'm going to do it real quick. And in about like 15 seconds I'll be done with this and we can move on. Alright, things are coming along nicely. While I'm in this area, there's something that Lotus just sent me. Let's do a quick little unboxing. So this is my last shipment from Lotus of parts that I need. So this is our AC hose that one way or another goes into here and then connects into our AC condenser. So that's good, we'll have AC now. What else do we have? We have some rear quarter glass. This is actually real hard to get your hands on. And window washer covers for the headlights. These two pieces of plastic I think are over $100. I think it's 120 bucks for these two. And then this little rear reflector. I think it's actually a light, probably an LED reflector light. This goes on the rear bumper. My half of the rear bumper, one half of it is ripped off, so this goes on the other half. So that is it. That's literally the last of the little odds and end pieces that I needed to finish this build. Very cool, very cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this AC hose while I have it here, and I can, and I'm in this space and I got some room. right, front bumper's all set up the correct way, we're going back to the OEM mount. Everything's looking good. I'm not down to the like last little middle. God, can you guys hear that? So much stuff is falling on the shop. I may cut this a little bit short and bail out of here if the wind does pick up too much. There are a lot of very old, very, very, very tall trees around my shop, and I really don't want to get squished by one. So if it gets too bad, I am going to bail out of here. Anyways, back to the car. I didn't get down to the very last millimeter because we have to take all this off to install the rest of the stuff that goes under the hood, kind of the stuff that makes for better directional airflow. And there's no point, I don't believe, to getting it all down to every last millimeter when it has to all be taken apart again. So this is close enough to do our shakedown. It's a good representation of the placement of all the parts. So I'm going to do a couple fun things with carbon fiber next. This carbon fiber side mirror. I ordered this. It's just a generic carbon fiber side mirror that I got on eBay. I'm going to lightly zip tie it onto the side of the car so I can start looking at the car, looking at the profile with this mirror and seeing if I like it and seeing if I want to use these and do an actual installation of these. The stock mirrors that are on this car come off of a Jaguar, I think an XJS like model or something, some pretty lame Jaguar. They just picked them out of a bin and said like those will work and put them on here. I don't think they match the aesthetic and the style of the car very well, and they're also very, very heavy. So I'm going to play around with these and see if I like them. Jump inside the car, check the viewing angles, see if it'll work. It's possible that they don't extend out far enough for me to even be able to see them, but I'm going to play around with these and figure that out a little bit. And then I'm also going to clean up the front lip that goes on the bumper and go ahead and bolt that onto the bumper. Front lip is installed, looks great. That's pretty easy, just 3 screws. Now these mirrors are, I think they look good. They match the carbon fiber up front too, the carbon fiber trim. I think they look good. They are a little bit, it looks to me when I look at them from inside the car, not like, I don't know how to say this, not like wide angle enough. Like, it's, I don't know. So I'm seeing like a little too much and not like, I'm seeing too narrow of a view on the way back, so that could be a downside of them. But I do think I'm going to be able to make them work as far as like the angle that they need to mount on the car and being able to see them. And I do really like the look of them. I like the kind of mechanical style look of them. I really like that it matches up with the carbon fiber on the other parts of the car too. So I think I'm going to start thinking about how to build some brackets. So the idea would be that I would build a triangular bracket across here that would come down here, that would bolt into where the other mirror went, and then this mirror would bolt onto that. And I think that would, yeah, I think that'd look pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to the back side. All right, that was quite a workout. So we got the car all facing the right way, and I'm gonna start. We gotta reset this clamshell. Eric's on his way. I think he just showed up. We've got to reset this clamshell on here the right way. These things are on incorrectly. Then we're going to try and get the rear hatch and some other stuff bolted on here. So I've reset my goals for this episode. It's a different day. We went out and got the FJ Cruiser kind of in the middle of this episode. So my goals for this now are to get it just to be roadworthy, the bare minimum we need to do to be street legal to do the shakedown. What we have going on is this massive amount of rain that's over Oregon right now, and it's raining like every day, and it's supposed to rain for the next 10 days in a row. So I'm not going to drive it in the rain, but I'll settle for just a break in the rain and hopefully a bit of dry streets, and then we're going to do a shakedown on this thing and verify that, you know, what we've done is going to work before we do the full installation of everything. So that's what I'm going to try and do in this episode, is just get it to the point where if the roads are dry, I can go let her rip. The car is insured. The car has a trip permit for it. So everything legally, we're ready to roll. Just got to get enough of the body on here that it's an effective test. There's Eric, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Eric and I have reset the rear clamshell now, and we're testing out that top vent panel. Underneath here there are, Eric, can you help me lift this off here real quick? There are 4 bolts. There are these ones that go here, and then there are 2 up top that go in there. And then we believe that the vent panel has a bunch of plastic kind of snaps that we need to go from things like this. We're gonna need to put a snap through here into things like this and here. So we don't really have those right now. We're kind of trying to figure out a way that we could hack those on there. But yeah, so we're working on that. We've got this placed correctly. We have the bracket for the water reservoir. It's resting on it, but it's in there and everything fits. So this is actually in its proper like fitting place now. And we got our battery cables running through here. So everything's good. We're gonna keep working on that rear vent panel, and then we're gonna grab the rear hatch and rest it on here and just keep going on this rear end as fast as we can. All right, update. We have a hatch. It looks great, it fits perfectly. So that is a big breakthrough, because what that lets us know is that our bulkhead repair that we did that's deep down underneath there actually went on correctly. We have this bolted on hard, that vent panel on, and that rear hatch, and they all fit up flush and they all work, which is like a total miracle, because you can't really see it, but behind that pad right there, back there somewhere, there is a little bracket with 2 screws in it, and we just eyeballed where that goes. It's got 2 bolts in it, nuts in it actually, and we eyeballed where that went and fiberglassed it in. And because of that, the hinge lined up correctly, and now we have a hatch. So that's awesome. Eric's just throwing around miscellaneous shit in there. We did put the electronic open and closer, but we don't have time to run the wires right now, so we're gonna just leave it latchless. Next thing I'm gonna do is grab a drill and drill out these, there's like a little bit of fiberglass residue in these areas, so we can throw on our rear spoiler. I have a wing, and I'm so happy about how this turned out and about just deciding to go with this wing in general. This thing, it fit on there really easily. It bolted straight up. It lines up with all the body lines. When there's a tiny bit of adjusting that needs to be done in the rear like bumper pieces down here. But dude, this thing looks so legit. It is awesome. Hethel Sport provided this. I just want to remind you that, sorry Hethel Sport, I oversprayed the hell out of your pillow, but these guys provided this wing for us. They're a sponsor of this build, and if you guys want to get one for your own Evora, for you Evora owners out there, this thing is fucking sweet. Excuse my language. I was just telling Eric, this is the first car I think I've had with a legit crazy wing, and this thing fits this car so well. Awesome. All right. Let's get the bumper on. We got our tail lights in, we got our reverse lights in, our new bumper is on, and it looks fantastic. Everything's lining up great. Couldn't be happier with that spoiler. It looks so good. So this is actually really easy to bolt on. Now keep in mind, I don't want you guys to get too excited. A lot of this stuff is like, we're testing fitment, we're testing a lot of stuff, and we're gonna drive with it on here, but we're gonna have to go back and do kind of our due diligence on some stuff. If you look in the back here, we are really light on the wiring. There's some, the wires come in back there. We still need to wire up there's basically a rear wiring harness that goes in here. We need to run a wire from there to our tail lights and our reverse lights as well. But we have a rear hatch, it functions, it's great. We didn't put the latch on because we were scared to lock ourselves out of the trunk for now. But overall, killing it, we're killing the game. All right guys, that's a wrap on this episode. We definitely hit our goal. We are very, very close to being able to do a shakedown test drive. So this weekend, first thing I'm gonna do is put the windshield in. While that sets up overnight, I will be wiring up the back so we have taillights. After that, we're street legal, and I'm going to basically stalk the weather until we have a dry period where I can take this thing out for a spin, and then I'm gonna hit it really hard and give it a really, really thorough test. So look forward to that this weekend. Big thanks to Eric for coming out and helping me out today. I was a little bit behind schedule with some different things, but we're all caught up now, and this is going awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like BS for Build, you like what we do, head over to bsforbuild.com, scroll down to the shop, pick yourself up a hat or a t-shirt or anything like that. All the proceeds of that go directly towards helping us get these builds. I feel like I should mention awesome stuff is going on with the FJ Cruiser. Sorry it's a different build, but it's also going on in the background. Parts have been ordered, good stuff is happening there, and everything is way inexpensive, especially compared to this thing. So things are moving quickly with that, which is really fun. I actually got it registered today. I have license plate for that in one day. I owned it for one day and I went and got a license plate, so I'm really stoked. The registration process went smooth. What's the other thing I say? You can find us at facebook.com/BSforBuild, and we are BS for Build on Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace!